Hey, welcome back to the Gilbertson Aero Factory. Today is Saturday, the 18th of January, 2025. It's been, I think, a week since I have been able to get out here and do any work on the airplane. It's fairly early in the day for me when it comes to airplane building, which is good, although I still have a ton of real work to do, which means I'm not going to get to spend a lot of time out here in the shop today, but I got to do something. Let's see. I think that for the foreseeable future, well, I don't know. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. Today, this is going to be a wings video. It's odds and ends. I have a couple of rivets here on the flap that I'm just not happy with. A couple of the pull rivets that were difficult to set that I'm going to redo those. And then I have some odds and ends to do with the aileron brackets and some Cherry Max rivets, which is something new that I'll have to learn how to do properly. And all of that is working toward getting the control surfaces mounted to the wings. So moving in that direction. What else? Since the last time I saw you, I went to Tim's shop the following day, I think, and we finished up his bottom skins, which was awesome. We learned a lot from the first wing that we did, and were able to apply those lessons, and it was just a much easier, cleaner, still difficult, but a much easier, cleaner job on the second wing, which means that by the time Tim comes and helps me with mine, they're just going to be spectacular. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it for today's introduction. So this is a part where I say, let's build an airplane.
All right, my friends, after a week, I'm back, and I'll just come out and admit it. This one got away from me really quickly. You can see the shop is a mess, and I got to do some cleaning up and arranging first. The plan here is to get rid of, or replace rather, a couple of pull rivets that are on the bracket on the inboard rib. They just didn't set quite nicely. Here's a picture. You can see that the two outboard pull rivets are crap. They just didn't sit completely flush, and then the one that's to the left, you can kind of tell that the mandrel broke off, not flush with the top. So, okay, I needed to get rid of those or replace them. Never mind the fact that there are 15 other rivets holding that bracket assembly to that inboard rib. Let's just keep that in mind. There are 15 solid rivets holding it in, and then those 3 pull rivets. I said before they're almost like they're for decoration. So, anyways, I grabbed a Dremel. I wanted to try to get the rest of that mandrel off, but it's such a tight space that you really couldn't go at it with the Dremel without cutting everything else up as well. So, what did I end up doing to get it down? I think that I was able to get a little bit more of it off and then start trying to drill it out. Let's just say it went poorly. So poorly, in fact, that my odds and ends build day turned into a deconstruction day. Well, it started with destruction. That's what's happening right here. I've got a right angle drill to try to get in there. The thing that makes this whole area so difficult is the way that top skin curves over. And this is, with respect to these flaps, kind of my worst nightmare that I thought of during construction was if you ever had to take this thing apart, it would be a real bear. Because not only are those rivets that are up close to the curve really difficult to set, even more difficult to remove. And man, and things do jump around here a little bit because the camera died a couple times for some reason. So the very first one, the one that had the mandrel kind of sticking out a little bit, that's the one I went after first. And I was able to get the top removed. And then you see me here trying to tap out the tail of the rivet, and it's just not working. And this is exactly why you always want to, whenever you can, put the factory head on the thinnest piece of material. Here in a second, you'll see me digging around trying to figure out why I can get a pick all the way through there, but for some reason it's still not clear on the other side. Like there's a piece that's hanging on. So now I've got my little borescope looking in there, and let's see what the borescope saw. Well, here you go. So there on the left, you can see that it did not drill out cleanly. And then when trying to punch out the tail, it just bent down the flange of that inboard rib. So now that whole rib has to come out, and you can see how many we just talked about. 15 solid AN470-4 rivets holding that thing to the rest of the assembly, plus all of the flush rivets attaching the skin. And also, in addition to all those flush rivets attaching the skin, flush solid rivets, there are 5 flush pull rivets that need to be pulled out. Man, what a... Structurally, had I left those 2 rivets alone, everything would have been fine. This particular assembly, this whole bracket thing here, is so ridiculously overbuilt. Those three rivets are completely ridiculous. I mean, meaning that there's just no... You could just leave them out. It wouldn't have mattered. But, boy, this was just a mess. And it's one thing after another with this. So that's a mess. Those are obviously going to be very difficult to get out. But all these ones here on that outboard rib that's facing us right now, or it's the inboard rib, I guess, but facing us, all those solid rivets there, the factory head is on the inside of the rib because that's the thinnest material. However, I need to drill them out now, and drilling out rivets from the backside is messy business. It very rarely comes out very cleanly. You're probably going to have to upsize probably half of those rivets now when the assembly goes back together. Who cares about that little rib? That thing is trash. And I have extra because of the whole business with the laser cut parts. This wasn't a part that I needed to be replaced. If you look on the far table on the right, you see a couple of skinny triangles in blue. Those are that 2 extras of that particular rib. They were on the list. You could replace them if you wanted to. I did replace them. The ones that I had were not laser cut. But I know that I make mistakes, so if they're offering extra parts, I'm going to take them. And guess what? I've got it. But I really did make a mess. So here's how this went. It took me almost 3 hours, like 2.8 hours in this farce of a build session to create the problem and then to try to undo the problem. It's not completely done yet. It's took me 2.8 hours to break it and then take it apart. So what's left to do is to fix it. I have to put it all back together. So in this session, I fought with all of those rivets to get that rib removed and get that bracket removed. I have, like I said, extra ribs, more than one, so I can prep and replace the rib that I bent up. I don't need to try to straighten that out, and I don't have to worry about any of the holes in that rib that got wallowed out. But in the bracket assemblies and in the spar there are, I would say, not that bad. I mean, of the 10, 11, 12, I think, rivets that I pulled out of there. Oh no, I got all of them, all 15 of them. Of the 15, I think there are 3 or 4 that I'm going to have to upsize, because of the being unable to get to drill them out cleanly. So what a mess. So as you watch me, and I'm not going to make you sit through too much more of this. I'm kind of constantly changing positions to try to work every different angle on these rivets. These are not easy ones to get out. Trying to remove them from the back is just junk. I did want to, this is sort of a reminder going all the way back to, I think, when I was building the trim tab on the Empennage, but I learned a trick for the small pull rivets was pretty useful. To get them removed, take a much larger drill bit and work very slowly on the top of the pop rivet, and you can get the top to break off before you get down to the dimple, and then it's just a matter of punching it out. And so that was a good tip that served me well today. I did get to use Jack's rivet removal tool for a handful of those rivets, which was very useful. Those went pretty quickly. But yeah, I will throw up a look. Oops, bumped the microphone. I'll throw up a look at what this thing looked like when I pulled it out of there, and we're just going to call it a night. And at some point, hopefully this week, I'll get that thing put back together and get back on track with this airplane build, because that's what I'm doing. Normally what I'm doing is I'm building an airplane, and on days like today, I'm instead taking it all apart. So yeah, let's just enjoy what this looked like when it came out, and admire the destruction, I suppose. Think about all the wrong that we've done. There you go. Smashed to heck. Part of that rivet's still on there. Looks like crap. And that's going to go where the rest of the crap goes. There you go. See ya.